Hello, everyone. Oh, I have to stay here. Already failed at that. Okay, thank you for allowing us to open this Keck Science meeting with C Shooter. I'll be presenting, well, this was presented last year, or the results of our first feasibility study. Now, this year, it's quite different. So I'll tell you what has changed and what this instrument is. So the first thing we are already seeing here on the first slide, you can see C Shooter is going to be here on the Naismith platform of Keck 1. That has now been decided. So I'll talk a little bit about the science case of this instrument, and then what the instrument is and the technology a little bit. And then, of course, what its performance will be like compared to X Shooter, which is, of course, the thing that inspired the name for this thing. All right. Well, first of all, let me thank our large team. We have an engineering team, a science team, and a technology team with lots of members. Already the PI is Shri Kulkarni and Deputy PI Mansi, who should be here somewhere. I'm acting as the project scientist. We have the instrument architect, Jeb Bailey, and Mark Cassis is helping us from WMKO. And yeah, there's a long list. I don't have time to read everybody's names, unfortunately. Our science team has grown this year, which is significant. I'll get back to that in a bit. All right, so why do we need this instrument? Well, what you're seeing here in the center is the spectra taken by the X Shooter of GW170817, and they took an incredible series of spectra covering the optical all the way to near infrared K-band. That is pretty much what we want to be able to do. We want to take such spectra in one go, not having to use multiple instruments, etc. But this instrument, it turns out, it's going to go much wider than that. It's not only going to be able to do time domain. It will, in fact, be able to maybe not entirely replace, but it will be able to cover for all these instruments I'm listing here. Some of them will be retired soon. So we are hoping to be timely with this thing as well. And last year I did not have high-res on this list. This year I do, because it turns out we are going to design this thing to do significantly higher resolution than what I presented last year, up to our 40K. I'll get back to that. But it's going to be a single object spectrograph. And we really think this machine is going to be the answer in the ELT era even. And last year I presented this slide. It's very similar this year. This is all the time domain science cases. We cover everything from kilonova to lensed supernova, high redshift, TDs, and so on. But following that meeting and early this year, we did a community survey to ask, given the fact that we can do higher resolution, 20,000 and 40,000 R, we asked the community for input, and we received very nice feedback on this poll that Mansi and Jeb Bailey led. And we have now added a broader science case pretty much. These are not really time domain. Some of them could be considered to be there, like the solar system work, but the instrument now goes broader. It's a general purpose single object spectrograph. And I'd like to thank the people listed here for their contributions in particular. They have helped us with our science case document very recently. And of course, if you think something is missing, we are still open to adding more science cases to the instrument. But I think at this point we do have a broad range of things, and if we build it to support all these cases, it will be a very versatile instrument. We will be able to acquire comets, moving objects, and we will be able to do very long exposures on faint things, and to support the workflows of those different science cases. Right, a little bit about the instrument. So it turns out we are now making on a shell. Last year we presented a first order linear spectrograph with VPH gratings. Now we are not doing that anymore. We are doing the most sensitive shell ever built. The benefit of that is you can do much higher resolution, and you do not need a slicer unit. We can use a regular long slit with a slit selector without losing much throughput at all. So you will cover 310, actually 308, the current design, to 2450. So kind of near UV to near infrared. The standard observing slit, which would be 0.75, going to give R20,000. If you do a narrower slit, you can reach R40,000, which is all well sampled on the detectors. And in particular, the instrument will be prepared to use any kind of ground layer AO when it becomes available. And then we will not really have any slit loss even at the highest resolution setting. Next thing is very important. It will, because it's sitting on Naismith Keck 1, it is going to be always available, so it can be triggered within minutes if required. We are envisioning also an imager to support the spectra, but that is it's an upscope. It might be built by MIT. That remains to be seen. That would have 3 filters simultaneous, and it would have high-speed detectors. Yeah, so we hope to build an extremely efficient machine. You will only need to adjust slit width and exposure time. It will be robust. It will be stationary on the Naismith platform. There won't be significant flexure. This is another reason why we chose that. There will, of course, be modern tools to predict exposure times and make your observation schedule. All right, a little bit about the optical design. We have a fairly mature design for the spectrograph and the camera. Light comes through the slit, hits the shell, comes back to a Mangin mirror, bounces off this parabolic mirror here and comes into the camera, which has only 5 optical elements, it turns out. So that's a high throughput design, the highest we can do with an shell. And it's going to look, there will be 3 channels, of course, as you see here, infrared, which is cold, and 2 optical. They will have pretty much the same design. So we may just make three copies, with the one difference being the IR has to be in vacuum and cooled cryogenically. Down here you can see the echelograms, just proving that we have done the work to show that this is going to work. They will fit on the detectors and so on. Lowest order in the UV, as I said, is 308 starting, which is of some importance for people looking for emission lines, which can be there in comets at 309, for example. This is the mechanical design we envision at the moment. This is being worked on actively right now. And this is the latest. We plan to mount it vertically like this, which means it won't take up very much space. We will have an M4 selector, which means we can share this Naismith platform with other instruments very easily. I think Cola and Liger are the instrument that might come first to share with us. Here is kind of the optical details, sampling and so on. I want to read to this, but you can check this out, of course, after you download the presentation. And of course, this is what you can use to prepare, to check if this thing, can it do your science or not, right? You can already start preparing a little bit. Okay. A little bit about the performance. This might be tricky to see, but so we have done a study where we compare the throughput that we expect on the different platforms at Cassegrain, at Naismith, and different configurations and so on. And we arrive at the Naismith choice because there is very little difference. especially if we can get a silver-coated M3, then there is no good reason to go to CAS, and then you have to deal with flexure and so on. And of course, if we get AO, all these numbers go up. So this is giving the depth you can get in 1 hour, which is roughly 24 mag at 1K R and 22.5 at 40K R, which is really the more remarkable number here. There is nothing that can do that out there. If we get AO, these numbers go deeper by 1.2 mags, roughly. Now, here I'm showing this is the most cutting edge detector technology you can potentially get. In particular, the quantizing CCDs do not quite exist yet. But we don't depend on having them. They give us 0.3 mag more depth than a detector that we can buy off the shelf. So the instrument can be made with nothing that doesn't exist. But of course, this is what we want. We hope to be able to get these things. All right. And finally, this is the comparison to X shooter, which is also on a shell. We are in the infrared, we are very much higher than them, more than 3 times in the throughput. Optical, about 2 times. This plot isn't realistically showing the emissivity in the last part, so that would be slightly lower for both instruments. Let me end by this statement here. This instrument, C shooter, is going to transform single object spectroscopy at Keck by always being available and offering a unique combination of efficiency, throughput, and resolution now. Thank you.